Okay, I think we're live. I never know when we're fully on air with these things. But that being said, everyone, welcome to today's Sunday session. I'm so excited to do this with you all. I'm just checking that it's all up and running. Okay, I can see the live chat. All right, that's pretty good. All right, guys, let me know if you can all hear me clearly in the chat below. How has everybody's weekend been? What have you all been up to? I've had a strange weekend to say the least. I've had better weekends, but it's almost over. We're getting there. We're gonna do it. So today we were gonna have, after last week's show, we were gonna have Ben and Craig dive on here. However, Craig sent me this photo, which I don't know if he wants me to share, but I think it's hilarious, so I'll share it anyway. So Craig is currently doing an illusion show just dressed up like a pirate. So he can't make it today. And Ben is going to do his best to get on here and get on and show us all everything. So the original plan was that we were going to talk about another plot, like Torn or Restored card, like we did last week, which I mean, we didn't really scratch the surface of the Torn or Restored card. However, it was Ben kicked ass. Ben blew us all the way. Adam Wilbur shared something which wasn't TNR, but it was a brand new product exclusive on here, and we had so much fun. And I came away with a bunch of fresh ideas and inspiration after it. And this week we were going to talk about object to impossible location. However, the guys are not here, so I'm not going to go and talk about it on my own because I feel like the best stuff came collaboratively last week. So, yeah, Nemed. Oh, what's going on, Nemed? You can hear me. How you doing, mate? David P. Sound is good, loud and clear. Weekend of gimmick. Oh, Lee, what gimmicks have you been making? Tony Barnes. My uncle is in the chat. Nice hat. No, I got this hat on, Uncle Tony, because I didn't my hair. Well, I'll just show you. It looks mental without it. So, anyway, and who else we got here? Molly Mayhem. Oh, I think that's Matty Mayhem, but you said before, Molly Mayhem, that you're using a different account to get on. Is that right? I'm not 100% sure. So, I'm going to talk about a couple of things today. If you have any questions for like a Q&A style format, let me know. Because I know there has been some questions, quite a lot of questions on other videos in the past, and it's hard to like go around them all. And if that's not the case, I will just start going into some things that I sort of shared. I shared a YouTube short earlier today. If you haven't seen it, it's of a sort of test condition card control. It's something that I put on my Instagram a while ago, and it's more of an exercise in thinking about card controls and trying to do things like clinically. I don't know, but I'll talk about that. But the first thing that I really want to talk about is Matthew Wright. My good friend Matthew Wright from Spain messaged me because if you haven't seen his review show called The Web of Secrets, it's incredible. It's a YouTube review show, and on there he basically takes a product and it looks like he spends like an entire week making like a proper storyboarded video of a review of the product, and it's the best review show out there. It's so well thought out. He put so much time into it, and in that review show there's a segment that he calls the wife test, and you can all see where this is going. I have 100% seen these videos. I love them, and on the podcast last week with Craig, I was waxing lyrical about how good his videos are. And I also have a segment called the wife test, and only started doing it like a couple of weeks ago and didn't put the dots together in my head that Matthew did. I mean, it's slightly different. He performs on his wife, and then I perform a trick on Kaylee, and then have her review it all. But one of those things I'd seen sat in the back of my head, and I thought I'd recreated it. And I phoned like Craig Petty. I was like, "Oh, I've come up with a really good concept called the wife test." And I thought I had, and then it turns out Matt had been doing it for ages, and I'd been watching them and just didn't like complete like link the dots. Anyway, so Matthew messaged me and he was like, "Are you being a dick on purpose or not?" So I gotta say, we've had a laugh. We've sorted it out. There are some underground dealings that has to happen in the Ruskin. He knows what I'm talking about to resolve this. Yeah. So I'm gonna just because I love Matthew and out of respect, I'm not gonna use the wife test phrase anymore. I'm gonna drop the name, and it also opens up the ability to do other things. Because I've shown Kaylee a lot of magic. And I want to show everyone like some of the stuff that I do behind the scenes that I don't publish all the time. But it wouldn't be honest reactions to show her repeat effects. So it does kind of open it up to allow me to perform things to other people and get their honest opinions and thoughts after seeing the effects as people who are not laymen but also not magicians. So from now on, the weekly wife test will be called, I don't know what it's going to be called yet. Leave a comment below. Actually, this would be super helpful. Let me know what you would prefer the segment of the YouTube channel be every Thursday instead of the wife test, where I'm going to basically just performing new effects on not just Kaylee but other people. Come up with a cool name for it. We'll work together and we'll go from there. But also, if you haven't, go and check out Matthew Wright's YouTube channel. The Web of Secrets is called. It's actually like the best made videos for magic reviews in the whole magic world. It's amazing. All right, okay, I'm going to get back to the chat. I wanted to make sure I just got that out there just for, well, because I love Matthew and to clear the air. All right, Von de Leon, hey Lloyd from Qatar. Man, I think I've flown to Qatar airport, maybe? I'm not sure, but I'd love to go there. Josh, yo. Lee Raybone. I've been making face-off gimmicks and some Acme holes. Oh, man, hell yes, they are. Acme holes I find easy to make, and the face-off gimmicks. They're one of the gimmicks that sorry, not easy. I find them satisfying to make. Some gimmicks I hate making, but some I love. All right, Lloyd, you should do something for Pixel. Make a trick called the Pixel. Jay Hauser. I know, dude. Did you comment that this week somewhere as well? I was thinking of that because my dog, if you didn't know, passed away this week. Really untimely, like way too soon. But I don't know if there's a trick good enough. I don't know if I could create a trick good enough for her. All right, we got Nathan Lindley. I asked him, did he want to jump on today? He said, and he's messaging me. He's just said, Abraxas, just got your message. Check your phone. And he's written, I'm out at the moment, but can make myself free next week. And some swear words. One swear word. That's totally cool, man. All right. So Molly Mayhem says, performing on each other's wives. Rory Adams said something like that earlier. Gillian, hello. Hey, how's it going, man? Lying to my wife after she guessed the method right the first time. Jay Hauser, yes, I did. Yeah, you did say that. Yeah, no, Jay, I seen your comment about that and about Pixel. And I don't know, like, I don't know. And also, if I did make a really good trick called Pixel, I'd never want to perform it because I'd be too upset to perform it. Do you know what I mean? David Peace Magic. David, I'm sure, are you the competition winner? And if so, I think I need to email you back. That's the competition regarding the podcast with Craig. Honest lay people react. I like that. I kind of feel like the people that I'm going to be choosing to perform may not be so much laymen, but they're people that will have seen me do magic and will 100% be honest with what's going on. Joshua Riley, I'll join. Josh, I have a theme in mind for where the show is going to go, and I don't think it scratches your niche, but I do want to get you on one of these episodes, maybe this week, maybe next week or the week after, and then we'll have loads of fun there. Jared. Right, check. Like wife swap for magicians. Nemed. Oh, God. Nemed. Always lowering the tone. Okay, David. Yes, I sent an email. Yes, David, I've seen your email. Tough week. Not an excuse that my dog's dead, but my dog's dead. And it's a bit slow getting back to you, but I will get back to you this week. It's all going. Everything's going to... I've done my grieving. And also what I did is, if you can see behind me, I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I decided to start painting my entire studio black. So you can see the mirror. You can see the wall now. If you notice, I've sort of changed things around. I'm halfway through painting the entire room black. So I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I have begun painting my room black. So take from that what you want. Molly Mayhem. Hey, bro. Patrick. Oh, I love Patrick from Murphy's. Is currently producing the doggo trick I've submitted. I'd let the name be changed to Pixel. I'll take the effect off private if you want to see it. That's really kind. I do want to see it, but I'm not going to be calling it Pixel because it would have to be very personal for me to do that. You have to make it myself. Okay, all right. In the comments, who's seen today's short where I posted a card control and the test conditions? If you haven't seen it, I can perform it right now. I don't want to flash straight away because I may flash, but if you let me know if you've seen it in the comments, and if not, I'll perform it to the camera maybe I can pull the video up, but I'll perform it to the camera and then we'll go over how it works. So this is a bit of an exclusive. I did post it on my Instagram last summer, and it's an idea that I originally sort of soft published. Look at that, I just dropped all the cards. Soft published in my notes called Rebel back in like 2012 or something. So I talked about something like that. So it's really like it's an old thing, and every now and then I like to sort of just test myself with it. So Lee, that short was awesome. Thanks, dude. And Jared, you saying me as in you've seen it, or you Gillian hadn't seen it? Is it Gillian? Gullion 111. I've just dropped a bunch of cards. Okay, bear with me as I pick some up. I'll tell you the reason I posted the short today. I'm back, by the way. Is because, you know, sometimes you find a deck of cards and they're like perfectly broken in. So, and then some days you wake up and your hands are like cold or dry and you can't handle cards well. Today was one of those days where like my hands were like felt perfect, like the right texture. They were like, you know, perfectly like perfect moisture in them. And I picked up a deck and it was just perfectly broken in. And it made me want to like bust out some sort of thin knuckle busters. So with that being said, Jared saw it. Gullion hasn't seen it. Okay. So I'll show you guys now. Let me pull up my camera here. Just was watching it for that. I'll show you guys what it looks like. I might flash, but hopefully I don't. And then we'll talk about how it works and some of the reasoning behind it more than anything, because this sleight. It's a bit more angle friendly than you think when you see the performance, but I oftentimes I come up with stuff to more think about to sort of give an example of the thinking behind it or the reasoning behind it, as opposed to it being like as opposed to it replacing better controls that are out there. Do you know what I mean? So I just shared a link on Facebook so people can join in. But this is essentially it. Okay, so you have a borrowed deck and a card selected. So we'll take out any card. We have the King of Diamonds, so you can all see that there. Oh, look at that. Just dropped the pirouette. The King of Diamonds. And the King will be left, and this can be signed, will be left in the center and lost into the center with no controls. So you said I'm going to show you two things right now. I'm going to show you, first of all, the top card, so you know it's not on top. And I'm going to show you the bottom card, so you know it's not on bottom. Okay? And it's that fair. And then what you do next is cast a shadow. So you cast a shadow over the deck. Just like that. No doubles. King jumps to the top. Kind of feel like I nailed that a little bit, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Did I flash? Did any of you guys like that? Did I nail it? I don't know if I can rewind that clip. Oh, I think I can rewind it. Okay, so that was I don't know what the name of this thing is, but it's sort of like an experiment that I've sort of chipped away at. Experiment like in test condition controls that I've chipped away at over years. Anyone have a better name for it than me? Let me know down below. Rohan McCourt said nailed it. Thank you so much, Rohan. I appreciate it. So, thanks, Jared. Thanks, Gullion. Looked clean. Thanks, David. All right, guys. So, if you have any names for this, I think I may have named. I don't know if I've named it before. If you can think of a cool name for it, let me know. But maybe you want to. Thanks, Von de Leon. Thanks, Jared. Thanks, everyone. Maybe you want to see the method before coming up with a name, or maybe that will make the name seem obvious. Either way, I'll talk about it now. So thank you all for the lovely comments, and I'll jump into the explanation. So the theory behind it is the more important thing. So it's not so much the moves, but it's the theory. And I thought about if I could really perform a piece of magic or card control where where it looks how it should look. And that sounds really silly, right? But there's all these controls out there where people make convoluted moves where there's a card like this and everything gets lost in and it's all jumping around, or you do moves where it's like that and then the card gets pulled out and it's turned over, and all weird things that just don't make sense. You know, my favorite controls are things like the Troy Husier slipstream control with the Ben Earl handling, or the Sadowitz control where it like comes to the top, because they're all moves that you would normally do as a card magician as opposed to moves that don't seem natural. So I was thinking, how far could I take this idea of doing nothing but framing the control as a performance piece? So instead of using some controls are made to get the job done, and this control I was thinking as making it a framed piece, as in the whole effect is about the control. It's not, you're not using the control to get from A to B within the effect. Does that all make sense so far, right? Nemed said, wasn't crap. I mean, that's a huge compliment. Thanks, Nemed. So what I began with was thinking about how it should look, which is very simple, really, is to think, I thought, well, I want to take a playing card and I want to place it into the deck and lose it in. And I'd like that card to appear on top. Now, there's moments within these movements that you can exploit, right? So, for example, if anyone's seen like the Ego Slip by Garcia, I also published something called the LTB control, which is a similar thing without opening the deck and using different hand positions. You could do like a Sadowitz slip, so under the guise of falsely putting it in, it can come to the top, or you could do like a bow to stern control. So if you had a card here, you can then somehow get it to, come to the top. It's all areas within this motion of placing the card out jog that you can exploit the aesthetic to get the card to the top. But I didn't want to do any of that. So I really wanted my card to be lost into the center of the deck. And at this point, have it not be on top, because I feel like that's honest, that's fair. The card really is in the deck, and I don't have to rely on doing a move when people think the move is happening. Does that make sense so far? So in a lot of these other controls, the move would happen between this card being pushed from this position into the flush position, or even being placed into the deck, right? And there's so many different things you can do, like Tenkai steals where it doesn't actually go in and whatever. So I actually wanted the card to be placed in the deck. That was the first rule of this this sort of experiment. And then so from there, I have to think to myself, that card needs to get to the top, and I can't do real magic. So if the deck is in this position, how do I get it to the top without cutting the deck? Okay, so here I had to have some like padding or some like convincing reasoning to give me an area to exploit. And when I say exploit, it means something happens where I can deceptively execute the sleight that's going to enable this to work. So I'm just checking the comments. Okay, nothing updated there. And what I thought is under the test conditions, it's not a rye, it's not a miss to show that the card's not on top and to show that the card's not on bottom. This feels very natural, right? So if we recap, a card would be lost in the deck, and I wanted it in the center at this point. Now, to me, it doesn't feel like I'm doing something unnormal. Like I'm not cutting it and then cutting it and re-cutting it or doing all these turnover things. This feels very natural to show that that actually was on top, but to show that it's not on top because you're convincing them, right? So cards in the center, it's not on top, it's not on bottom. To me, this is okay. I don't mind this because it's highlighting the fact that the card's not there. So this is the area I chose to exploit. And the way that I figured was I could either exploit it at the top end here or at the bottom end here. So either when I show that it's not there or not there. Now, one of the ways could have been to, if I was going to exploit it when the top card's shown, I could come here and then do some sort of cherry control thing or flip the deck over. But I quickly sort of found, and sort of, I love this move as well. I'm about to teach you or show you. It feels right. So this is what's going to happen. I realised that if I show the top card, I can, and without doing a Charlier cut, because I know there's some controls out there where a card goes in the deck and you sort of Charlier cut it to the top. I didn't want to do that. I actually want the deck to remain in place. And I found the Fred Robinson, or is it Frank Garcia or Fred Robinson? Let me double check on this. Ambitious. It's the riser move, right? You know from like Raise Rise. Let me just double check. My credit in. I think it's the Fred Robinson Ambitious Riser move from way back when, which is essentially what the Raise Rise routine uses, right? Now I don't steal the card out and shoot it out. I get it into position ready to shoot out. So the move is originally this, right? Where you get it outwards at the back and kick it forward. So I'm not doing that. I'll show you what I'm doing. When the card's placed in, this is good because it's got a signature on it. Let me show you again, actually. When you square the card into the deck, you're going to angle it to the side, and push it and let your thumb kick it out at the back, just so that it protrudes a tiny amount, okay? Like that. So it's speed. And most of you know this move already, right? So speed from an exposed view comes at an angle in there. All right, so that stops it going in flush. So come here, you tap the top corner, top left for me, because I'm using my left hand in mechanics grip, in dealer's grip, sorry. And then it comes, the corner edge comes just past there, and then your thumb kicks it back slightly as the rest, it's really hard to do slow, but as the rest of the fingers sort of work it out the back end of the deck. And you want it to be the only card there. You want it to be square. You don't want a bunch of other cards on top of it, right? So where's that card gone? So I'll find that assignment card again. It's gone. We'll use the 4 diamonds, but I'll do it face up. So at speed, this goes in. It gets lost into the deck. Now, I've got it out jogged. It's left out jogged there. Let me just check if anyone's messaged in the comments. So, one more time. At speed, it goes kicked to the side and then kicked back. Now, here I got the card out jogged. You can show the deck like this and cover this card so it looks very fair. The one thing you don't want to do is tilt up and show everyone this card kicked back, right? But you can do this, or you can just riffle the deck up. You're seeing that face up card because I've done it face up for you guys. But this is just a nice convincer to show that the deck has nothing untoward with it. In reality, you have one card kicked out of the back. And now the riser move, in short, because there's better places, there are better resources that will teach us more in depth, but in short, your pinky is going to reach back to the corner where the pip is, and it's going to kick it to the side. It's going to kick it at an angle like this, and then square up with your hands. All right, and that allows it to come forward. So when it's out jog, let me show you again. I'll show you sort of a top view. It kicks it to the side and forward like that. So from the front, it does this, okay? And what's nice about this, you haven't got to be a pro at the riser move. You just have to be able to do it fairly proficiently. Now, again, you don't want to tilt up or down too far. You're trying to sort of shoot this at their eye level. So I know my eye level's here for you guys, but in real world, I'd tilt it up slightly, okay? So the move is that, but we're going to combine it with something. We're going to combine it with the moment that we need to exploit, which is showing the top card, okay? Now, the way this works is that I'm going to take the top card at this opposing corner, so the corner with the, in this case, the king in here, and I'm going to show it like that, like a snap change, right? Very much like a snap change position. So I'm going to come up and show the card not there. Now, if you, depending on where you would be looking, I'd be tilting this all shielding it. So the angles are quite good. And as I'm doing this, I'm exposed view, I'm kicking this card forward, right? But if you notice, I'm quite literally in a snap view position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick that card, and if you see my ring finger, I'm going to grab this corner, the same matching corner, with the pad of the tip of my ring finger there. All right, like that. So exposed view is there, because this allows me to bring that king flush underneath it as I go back on top of the deck. So let me get some fresh cards the other end. So from the exposed view, card goes in, out jog, to grab a card at this corner, tilt it up as I begin to kick out the 6, and I grab it, pull forward, and then square everything on top. It seems a bit like mental when you expose it that way, but from the front and face down, the card gets lost into the deck, and you can show that it's not on top. This is the 8 of spades. And now the important part is, you might forget to show this, but the whole reason for showing that 8 is to show it's not on top, so now you have to show it's not on bottom. And then it comes to the top. Alright, so let's see which is another exposed view. So I'll try and do it from like a top-down exposed view, if I can, a bit more further down. We'll use this 8 of spades. I'll do it face up as well. So 8 of spades goes in. I'm going to grab this card here. And it's there. So just to go back one more time, we'll have any card selected. In this case, the 6 of clubs. I can lose it into the deck. I can show you that the 6 is not on top because that's the 2, and it's also not on bottom because that's the 8. And with no moves, that 6 is on top of the deck. So, yeah, I don't even know what I call that. If I have a name for it, maybe I did. It was such a long time ago, but I hope you guys, hope you all liked that. And really, like I said, like the message about it is more about the theory. So instead of using this, I would never use this in a normal routine. Like if I wanted to do maybe an ambitious card because it makes sense for it, but if I wanted to do, I don't know, a sandwich routine, then you could probably shoehorn it in, or like a triumph, but really this is more about using it as a performance piece. And then I like to frame it all. And the main thing is that just looking back at the aesthetics of it. So if I watch myself going, how could I do this if I wasn't using sleight of hand? Well, I would really want a card in, and I wouldn't want the move to happen when everyone thinks the move is happening. So what am I left with? Well, I can do something now, or I can find a reason to show something fairly, like maybe I can spread after the fact, or maybe I can do a fan after the fact, like a cherry control or something, by Ricky Smith, or I can try and exemplify how fair it is. It's not on top, it's not on bottom. All different ways and all different ways of thinking, but the main thing is sort of getting the deck and looking at how things visually play out as if you would naturally handle them, and then going back over and picking out moments of, oh well, there I can sneak something in, or there I can sneak something in right in the beginning or right at the end. So like not an entirely super practical control, but you'll notice that the angles are actually not as bad as you think. I'm quite free here. The card's out jogged. And when I do this steal, it's not the worst angles, you know what I mean? And from here. And then, yeah, so that's it. Also, I'll show you another quick thing that I put out. This was called the LTB control years ago. But if I place the queen out jogging to the deck, it could be control to the top as well. Now that wasn't the best angle, so maybe I can get it here. But this is essentially the same thing. As I'm displaying the 9, I can use that. I didn't do that very well. I can use that riser move to out jog a card. So what's happening from the exposed view is, as I'm showing the signed card or whatever it's going to be, I'm stealing out a card from the side, and then as I'm pivoting this on top of the deck, I'm kicking this card forward with my pinky, so kick kicking that card forward as that goes on top of the deck. And I use the pad of my ring finger to extend this out further, to sort of give the impression that it's still in my hand. So speed looks kind of like that. Not super practical. Kind of based off like the Garcia Ego Slip. Obviously, I'm not going to teach that, but very similar thing. But I just wanted to do it without cracking the deck open like that. So one more time, I can lose that jack into the deck, be to the top. But yeah, so that was based off the same thing, and you can do a bunch of different things with it as well. You can use J House of Flash. Yeah, it was Flash because I was just showing you guys what the LTV control is. So let me read some of these comments. You've got so much work on your arms in such a short period of time. That's crazy. It looks good. Thank you, Jay Hauser, man. Yeah, I wanted to have it all done in 1 day, and I wanted to have like 2 or 3 tattooists doing it at the same time, but they couldn't do it. So I had 4 8-hour sessions, and the final one was like 10 hours over 4 weeks because they only fit me in. But yeah, I couldn't. I had no patience, so I just wanted to get it all done. But if I could have had, I actually fell asleep on this bit, which is the weirdest sensation to wake up to ever. Okay, but thanks. But somebody's asked me to do a tattoo video talking about my tattoos, so I'll do that one day. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Hey, Create Magic. Rich Relish, how you doing? Oh my god, dude, I need to get back to your text. I've not constantly bring it up, but I've had my dog died, so it's been the shittest week ever. But if everyone needs to, Rich Relish and me met up last Monday night, I think it was. Yeah, like the Monday just gone, and Rich showed me some of the best ever mentalism stuff I've ever seen. So he's gonna be, well, I'll say no more. Keep your eye on Rich. Molly Mayhem. I made a control using the Ambitious Riser just last night. You kick the Rise card under cover of displayed selection card. Then under the cover of your hand, you put the selection card on top. Okay, let me see if I can understand this. So you kick the Rise card under the cover of displayed selection. Then under the cover of the hand, you put the selection on top. I don't know. I can't follow that so much. But I'd love to see it if you've got a video. Lee, you know what I'm practicing during my Zoom meetings tomorrow, lol. Tony, Dropbox fail, see you tomorrow. Thanks, Tom. Give us just a quick, easy color change. Oh, flashy. Okay. Okay, hold on a second there. So, Nemen, very nice. Been working on Eric Jones's Force using the Rise move, mostly for my own entertainment. Will add this to my obsessive fiddling. What's Eric's Force using the Rise move? I don't know if I've seen that. I'd love to see it. Okay. Quick, easy color change. A quick and easy color change. It's so hard because I don't want to teach anything that isn't mine, or isn't like a classic thing. I'm trying to think what color changes are out there. I'll show you one thing that I've been doing for a super long time, and it's kind of a color change. Which one should I do? Okay, I'll do this. If you guys want to see it, that is. It's not a color change per se, but it's a fun routine that's way easier than it appears, and it's super visual. Tell me the one card that I need isn't in the deck. Okay. All right. Best thing about this, no setup, totally a setup. Okay, let me get my angles. How many people text me? Okay. Oh wait, Nathan's texting. What's he saying? Or I could come on from the phone. We'll talk next with Nathan. Okay, so the super simple. I think I called this the heist or something. I don't know, but you need a 3 of diamonds. I hope I don't fuck this up. But if you take the 3, you can actually rip the pip off the center, but it doesn't last very long because you have to shoot the pip straight back on. So, did you guys like that? It was something I put it on my Odyssey DVD or something donkeys years ago. If you guys like that, let me know in the comments. Because it was kind of like a color change thing. The last bit is the duck change, so I can't teach that, but there's so many alternatives to it. And in the meantime, I'll think about a quick and that's the trick part of the that's the difficult part of the question. Is the easy bit for a color change. Everything I do is super duper knacky. I find. I'll tell you what's easy is the paintbrush change. Can I teach the paintbrush change? Roy Walton's. I don't think I can teach the paintbrush change, but I can show it. And I can talk to you how a really interesting way in which I use it. So here's a way that for those of you that don't know the paintbrush change, it looks like this. You take a card. This angle is terrible. Let me get down and dirty. So I'll shuffle the deck. How bad has my shuffling been lately? By the way, I'm shuffling so bad. You need a card, so it doesn't matter what we use. We use the top card. In this case, we use the 2. And it becomes the ace. So that's the paintbrush change. I think you all know what it is, but I'll show you what I do to make it feel super magic. Now, I'm going to try and sort of perform this as if I were a layman, but here's what happens. I don't do it as a visual change for the start. I have a card selected, so in this case, we'll go for this card, and it gets lost into the deck, all right? So all of you remember that card at home. And let me see. Let me see if I can find your card. I think who's texting me now? Okay, I think it's this card. So just don't confirm or deny if it is it. Actually, no. I'm gonna ask you. So guys, just let me know the card you were thinking of. Boom, Queen of Clubs, right? Yes, no, yes. Either way, watch that Queen. As you can see it being shaken. Watch, if I slow it down, it'll actually visually morph into the King of Spades, and I believe that might have been the card you guys were thinking of. So what it is that is I peek whatever card they select, and when I'm going through the deck to pick out a card that I think is theirs, I'm looking for the same style of card that looks very close to it, but also is considerably different. So in this case, it was the King of Spades, and the peak that I use, oh, you're going to love it. It's so practical for the real world. When I stopped and showed you all the card, I just looked at my screen. So there's that. But normally I would use like one that I call, Dan White taught it, he called like everybody's peak. So I can't teach it, but it's something like this. So they say stop. And then you just look at the card. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So when I know they picked a card like this or whatever it is, I'll then take out a card that looks similar. So the Queen of Clubs and the King of Spades, 2 very similar looking cards, but at least the club is different and it's a female court card, right? So I was really happy the King was chosen. And all this happens on the offbeat. So it's a peripheral color change. It doesn't happen as, I'm not going to say, hey, watch that Queen become the King. Instead, I'm going to show this Queen and get it wrong. And when I get it wrong, let's see how far back I can get. When I get it wrong, I'm going to relax and change the card. Now, you can do this in a million different ways. You can literally just steal that card off, right? But because they look so similar, because the cards are so similar, if you're not looking at one, so the focus is somewhere else and it's kind of just like just in the peripheral. So if you like, for example, so don't look at the Queen, but look at me, or look at like the Thurston poster, and just don't let it sink in. In your peripheral vision, this may as well still be the Queen, right? So this is all about that. You turn it over, boom, it's not the card, and you just let it. You come up to your chest and just do a super simple change, right? You just let it come off. So here's the Queen. Becomes the different card, and I can just relax here. Now I know I'm angling this card back so they can't see it, and I'm talking to them up here. But I'll tell you actually about the pirouette thing now with the intention of it. But that's the goal, is that they're not really focused on the card. The trick's gone wrong in a way. And what I want to do is start shaking it and then slowly bring it into view, because it's like next to impossible to see that it's not the Queen at this point. And then all it is just acting and slowing it down and showing that it's become the King. And the reason I sort of started working on this thing so long ago was I wanted to do a color change where I could just turn a card over and pirouette it and it would change. And the thing that I got to, which became a practical presentation, was to do this and then pirouette it. It's just really hard on camera to sort of get that done. But in the real world, what I would kind of do is this. I'd say, look, if I spin, boom, this actually, yeah, that's correct. That's your card. And then I'd look, no, oh, no, it's not. I'd say, oh, sorry, I need to spin it face up. Watch. If I stop, it becomes the king. And it just, in the peripheral vision, this is a really good tip, actually, if you're going to do, the computer monitor peak is king. It's a really good tip if you're going to do any color changes. For example, if anyone does just like a typical top change thing where you throw it in the air, right? Well, imagine how much more visual this looks now. If you know they've chosen the king of spades, we'll go for the king of spades again, and then you do something flashy and shoot the king out or the queen out. So it's the wrong card that gets shot out the deck. Now you just do a simple top change and say, watch it becomes... Oops. So you top change, watch it becomes your card. And they'll watch that card in the air and they can focus on it. So imagine they chose the king, but you produce a 3 of spades, right? So boom, this is your card. Oh no, it's not your card. Oh no, okay, but watch as it becomes the king. Kind of good, but they can see from the moment it takes off, it's not the king. But in this scenario, they choose the king of spades. So you're thinking of the king of spades again, and you go, oh, damn, sorry, it was kind of close. Watch as that queen. How terrible is that? You'd say, get up. Watch as the queen becomes the king, and you can throw that in the air. So you say, oh no, it's not. Well, watch as the queen becomes the king, and because they can't see it's not the queen, their eyes just play a trick on them, and it's just extending that moment of color changing. So that because if they really track it, they would see, like for example, if it was a 3, and they chose the king, as soon as it starts rotating in the air, they know it's changed. But when it's something similar, like queen, so they think they've chosen the king, you swap it for the queen, it looks, for all intents and purposes, that it's the queen going throughout the air the entire time until it stops. And you can just do so many, like, it's one of those like things where it's so much more visual than it should be, because you're playing tricks with their mind. I'm going to catch up on some of the comments because I'm a little bit like behind because they sort of come in like 30 seconds after I speak. So Lloyd, nice, never nice, very nice, yeah. Thomas Shevlin. Hey Lloyd, where do you stand on those people who go the route of self-work and no sleight of magic? Why do you think it's looked down on? I'll cover that in a moment, and I'll read the comments about the color change. Jay Hauser, Jesus, no snap change. Window change, I'm in love with too. Yeah, I love the window change. No way that paintbrush change is so fresh. Thank you so much, dude. An easy color change to get started on is the 2-deck dual clip shift top shot change. You can get 4 change. Yes, for sure. Guys, give a quick like. We've got 16 in here and 5 likes. Oh, thank you so much, Hauser. That's really appreciated. And guys, also, I learned how to do this. Did I show you guys this? Let me press a little button. Boop. Hit subscribe if you can too. Yes, so back to comments. Guys, Sean Andrachuk. Getting enough misdirection so people don't notice your computer setup is a bit tricky though. Yes. Gillian, index release. That's pretty dope, Lloyd. That's really nice. Have you got your Orphic yet? If so, are you enjoying it? Okay, let me go through all of these. In terms of misdirection for the thing, you can if for the community, I'm assuming, Sean, that that's a joking comment, because you know that. But if you really want to use a court card and you're worried that they'll pick a different card, then just force a king of spades, like do a riffle force. But yes, so for example, good cards are like a 9 of diamonds. You can if they choose a 9 of diamonds, you can go ahead and take out an 8 of hearts, which looks really good. This is very, very close to... So do I even have an 8 of hearts here? No, I don't. Oh, yes, I do. So, for example, yeah, it sort of relies on the same thing. If they choose an 8 of hearts and you pull out 9 of diamonds, let me show the best way of this. So that's the wrong card, and they've chosen the 8 of hearts even. You say, oh no, I got kind of close, but if I can spin it, you can see that 9 becomes an 8. And see how that can look. It doesn't look like that 8 for so long because it's spinning, and the same principle of with a paintbrush change even. So they chose a 9. That's the wrong card. Okay, watch as that 9 becomes an 8, or even with a top change. So let's say they chose a 9, and now you do the spin. It's all just about basically just choosing cards that are very similar to their choice, and then being able to like keep that card in their peripheral vision, and when the color change should look a bit more more visual, like a brain trick of the brain. Thank you, JDBW Music. He says he's getting back into Magic after a while and just found this channel. Thank you so much, dude. Palm Gibbons, favorite deck to use. All right, okay, so let's go through the questions. Thomas Shevlin, where do I stand on people that only use sleight of hand magic? My stance on it. It depends. I don't really have a strong opinion on it. I feel like if I don't do even though I create a lot of gimmicks, when I perform, I've said this so much on the channel, I don't even take a deck of cards out most of the time, and I'll just ask people to give me things that I can do magic with. So it's a practice to get more creative on the spot and thinking about like living off your wits when you as a performer, because I'm not the best performer in the world, but I'll just ask people to hand me stuff like coins, rubber bands, straws, anything I can get my hands on to try and do stuff. So I like pure sleight only magic, but it's more of a test for myself as opposed to defining my style of magic like it. I think if somebody's gone out there to create magic and they want to be the best magician they can be, then they're only amputating their ability to do so by restricting themselves to being sleight based only. Because if what you want to care about is creating magic, then gimmicks, whether it's a coin shell or a double backer, thumb tip even, they will take the impossibility of your magic up to a level that unfortunately in most cases, and this could be controversial, but pure sleight of hand just couldn't. For example, thumb tip, right? Doing the classic red silk vanish. That can't, I'll get fried for saying this, but I don't think it can really be done as cleanly or seemingly as fairly without the thumb tip, with just sleight of hand. Maybe you can ball it up and you can do false transfers, but that is a base foundation argument of, maybe there is a way that does it, that's better sleight of hand, but then do you get the freedom of motion? Do your hands look like they're doing sleight of hand when you don't have the thumb tip, for example? So I just think that it's fine if you want to use it as an exercise, like I do in some certain circumstances. But if you're just passionate about performing and you want to create magic and be the best magician you can be, then I think you're just amputating yourself, at the elbow, because you're cutting your nose off to spite your face in a way. It's just stopping yourself from doing the best that you can. If you know that the best method is using a gimmick to create that moment of wonder for someone, and you choose not to use it for self-serving purposes, then you're not giving them the experience they deserve. Imagine most of us got into magic by seeing a good piece of magic, right? And imagine that piece of magic, that the one that got you into magic used a gimmick, and it's probably the case for so many of us. Then imagine the magician that showed it to you decided on that day to just do pure sleight of hand and it wasn't as good. And then maybe you wouldn't be doing magic, and it's like you've robbed someone of their experience. If the gimmick version is an enhancement. Now there's so many things out there where the gimmick or even like product is made just for the sake of it being made or just for the sake of using it. I don't, that's obviously not part of the conversation. But some people who just choose to go sleight only and that's it. Then it's fine as a hobby. Like it's great as a hobby, but then just think whatever you choose to perform, try and find the best. Don't just if there is a better way of doing it with a gimmick for your audience, then put them first. So I hope that helps and answers the question slightly. Window change, no snap change. So let me go through some of these. That's pretty dope. Thanks, Molly Mayhem. I keep saying Molly, I think it's Matty, right? Matt. Create Magic. Have I got Orphic yet? Create Magic. I am happy to announce that I have received my Orphic wallet as well as a whole bunch of 1914 goodies in the post. I received them Friday, I think. And I tore the strip of cardboard off the box and then thought, oh, this would make a wicked unboxing video. So, as much as it's pained me, and as long as I've been bloody waiting, I haven't opened it yet. And I haven't set it up yet because I want to do it with you guys, maybe live. Or I don't know if I'll do it live just in case I expose, because there's a bunch of stuff in there, but I don't want to accidentally expose something that I'm not supposed to expose. So I'll make a video, I'll edit it all together, and then I'll start going through it. But how sad is this? Like, it's been one of the things that, even though like I've had a shitty week, it's been one of the things I've been most excited to get into and dive into and start playing with. So I'll probably shoot that some point throughout the week and get it on the channel for you all. Tom Gibbons, favorite deck to use? It's probably a blue bike deck because they're so good for gimmicks, gimmick making. Blue or red bikes, although I do have my own Moonshine deck, which was at its time a very popular deck, and we've done 3 or 4 print runs because they've sold out each time in different colors. But I designed those at a different stage of my like magic life. I want to say career, but I was like magic life, and I keep coming back to bikes. Although I am working on a new deck project, and I have been for a long time, and it's a deck that I want to bring out because I feel like it reflects a lot about what I talk about on this channel. So maybe that when it's finished will be my new favorite one. But as a rule, it can't really go wrong with bikes. And I know that's a boring answer. I'm not against other decks. I'll tell you one that I've been playing with recently is this Darren Brown deck from Theory 11. I love this deck. It was given to me as a free gift from the London Magic Convention, and just really enjoyed using it. It's got a nice feel to it, and it looks great. But I'm trying to think, what else do I have that I love? No, it's got to be bikes. I know how boring that is, but they're just so, because you can be so deceptive with them. You can make gimmicks for them, and magicians don't know if you're using gimmicks or not. It's just very universal. Frank Flores, Lloyd, you look so damn good, bro. Better than the cheese pizza. I miss you. Love you, dude. Brother Frank, I love you too, man. I miss you too, buddy. It'd be great to get you on here one day so we can have a jam live for everyone around the world. Or we can just catch up at some point. But thanks for dropping the love, dude. And you mentioned the magic P word. That's all I'm thinking about now. I would love some pizza right now. I haven't had it for so long. All right, Nemed. I don't think I've left the house without at least a shell in 15 years. Coin magic is always going to be better with one. Yeah, it's true. I lost it as always, but I had I don't know if they call it something different. It's Scotch and soda in the US. In the UK, it's called a coin unique, but I used to have a 10 pence 2p coin unique. Be like a quarter and a penny in the US or something. And I didn't leave the house without it for years and years and years because I would just do the most basic thing with it. I would load the 10 pence. Was it the 10 pence? The 2p? I can't remember which size was bigger now. But I would just load one under like someone's beer coaster or anywhere, and just put the 2 coins in my hand and close them up, lock in the gimmick, and just say name one of the coins, and whatever. Obviously, you use Magician's Choice. That coin would vanish. It can't get any cleaner than that because the gimmicks are so well made. You can just have the coin like examined to your heart's content, to their heart's content, and that coin would just appear somewhere else. Just the most pure basic magic trick, but 2 coins. The one they named is gone. And it's just perfect magic. Like, actually, I'm buying one right now. Let me go on Amazon and do that. Great magic. What a great idea. 1914 unboxing. Hell yeah. Thank you, dude. Well, now that confirms that's exactly what I'll be doing. So I'm going to buy on Amazon a coin unique right now because I don't want to forget that I want to buy one. Daniel Roth. What is your go-to card trick, not gimmicked and not marked? Oh, this is a fantastic question. And I'll answer it right now, actually, and I'll tell you exactly why. I can't find one. I want to get one on Prime. I have lots of performance footage of me doing this, and I've spoken about it once or twice in the past. I've told you guys before, I love performing magic at funerals. For some reason, it works well for me. Not like not being hired to go, but like family friends funerals. It seems to be like one of my favorite. But I got a really good performance video from a funeral of family members, and this is always my go-to trick. And I'll see if I can find the performance footage. But this is what I do, it's you get so much out of it. And the first thing, well, I call it 2-card deluxe, right? Let me see my camera. Well, I don't need to show you the performance like me performing, but I'll explain to you what happens. So it's 2-card Monty, right? But I use different cards to normal, and I have the potential to create a fucking miracle, and it hits 95% of the time, and it's so easy to do. So let me know below in the comments. Do you do 2-card Monty for a start? Right, and I'll tell you all. You get this upgrade to 2-card Monty. I don't mean I'm teaching it for free. I mean what you need to do to make your 2-card Monty go from a great trick to a absolute miracle is free. You don't do anything extra. And this is my 100% go-to, and I go straight from this normally into Omni deck. I don't like do it from a ambitious card or any other routine. So I would usually use the opposite way around. I would put the 2 3s in the hand. So I'd say, watch, you hold on to this 3, and I'd go through I'm not going to go through the whole patter for 2-card Monty, but that's the 3 of diamonds. This is the 3 of hearts. If they're following closely, which one's on top? Right now I'm in this position, and I just say to them, I want you to name a number between 1 and 10, but not 3, because you're holding the 3. And 95% of the time they'll name 7. Now, this is a tip that Pete Turner told me. If you ask, obviously if you ask people to name a number between 1 and 10, 90% of the time they'll name 7, right? It just happens. But 7 and 3 are best friends, like 4 and 6 are best friends. 8 and 2 are best friends. If you say name a number between 1 and 10, not 3, they'll name 7 95% of the time. So what I chose to do is use the 3s, so they literally can't name them in the context of this routine. So I say name a number between 1 and 10, not 3. And it hits the 7 95% of the time, right? But you're wondering what happens when they don't name 7. So wait for this. So then I say, when they name 7, I say, okay, cool. And now name 2 different suits to the ones you're holding. So they have to say clubs and spades, but it just feels really fair because you use that word different. Name, like freely name any 2 different suits than those ones. They're only left with clubs and spades, or heart. In this case, clubs and spades, but it'd be better to use the red ones just for impact. But from their point of view, they've named any number, and you don't name up. They don't think back that it's not up to 13 like the values, but they name any number freely, and it's kind of like a force because they use the 3s. Then they name any suits, but of course they have to name those 2 suits, and then you reframe and you say. At this point you say, okay, so 7 and clubs and spades. Now you could have named any numbers. When I say numbers, so it's like 7. You name 7, and you name clubs and spades. Wouldn't it be incredible if those 3s, impossible, became the 2 cards that you just named, completely named, free choice? And at this point they're like, yeah, that would be impossible. And they turn it over and it's the 2 7s, right? I'm underselling this bit a bit, but what happens when they go wrong? And this was the bit that took me a little while to sort of figure out, and then it was just like, oh my god, it means nothing. So they think they're holding the 2 3s, right? So you just perform 2-card Monty, and you say name 2 cards. Name a number between 1 and 10, not 3. And let's just say they say 6. You say, okay, what I want you to do is, without looking at them, swap those 3s over 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. And then you can just say, boom, those 3s are completely different cards. They've just changed into different cards. And explaining it sounds lame, kind of, but what you realize is that's exactly 3-card Monty anyway. You don't even have to have them switch. You say name a number between 1 and 10, not 3. They say 4. You say count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Those 3s have changed. Those 3s have completely vanished. They changed into different cards. So you say count to 4, or if they say 2, you say 1, 2. It's already happened. Now turn over those 3s. They're completely different cards. So you still get 2-card Monty, which you all know is like one of the best impromptu tricks ever. But by starting with 2 3s of the same suits, it can actually be different suits, and switching them for 2 7s, you get this miracle. Then when they do hit the 7s, which will happen all the time, bar like once or twice, when they do hit the 7s, and then you say, and name 2 different suits as well, then you've gone from 2-card Monty, where it's just 2 cards, change 2 cards, to you're holding 2 cards, name any 2 cards in the deck, the reframe, obviously, name any name any other 2 cards in the deck, boom, and now that's the 2 cards they're fucking holding. And that's been my go-to for years and years, and I find it super, super hard to top. And then I go into a bunch of other stuff. So that's my go-to card trick. Hope that answered your question, Daniel. Molly is my doggo. This is Molly Mayhem again. You're fine addressing her when talking to me. I go through her for all decisions anyway. Lemonhead, I've no YouTube. My Orphic is out and in action. Man, I can't wait to get my Orphic. But I have to wait to start. I have to wait to start filming the videos. So you can all see my genuine reactions to the unboxing. Rosa Lecker, what's the most visual trick I know? Very selfishly, probably some stuff from the Ghost system, which I put out, and there's a few versions of it. One's called like Poseidon, where it's a card through Bill, which hasn't been released yet, but it's on my Instagram. One of the first things I brought out called Change, because it was a sort of like an exploration into how to make the world's most visual slow motion color change. I made my version of it. Whether there's a better version out there, I don't know, but I managed to crack it into a place I was happy with. Punk BMX, hey Punk BMX, haven't seen you since you actually commented on one of my videos of the day, so how you doing, buddy? Thomas Shevlin, is there a place for fancy decks in Magic? Every time I see decks being used, it always seems to be bicycles for obvious reasons. Yeah, dude, in the UK, bicycles are not the standard decks. I don't know if you're from the UK, but most people, there's a company called Waddingtons or something, and they're normally bridge size playing cards. So to me, these are a fancy deck, whether they're gold, red, blue, black, it doesn't matter. So is there a place for fancy decks? Yeah, because for me, these are just fancy decks. So they're not normal in the UK. They're not normally poker size, and they're not normally bicycle. And the best way, if you're ever worried about people questioning fancy decks, best thing is just ask them to shuffle the cards, and that sort of dispels any worry. I see the fancy deck question a lot being brought up everywhere in the Magic realm, and I think it's one of the few issues which pretty much is a non-issue as a whole. So the one thing I will say is some magicians shoot themselves in the foot when they bring out, like, I don't know, say I'm a performing magician and I bring out, this is a gift from Nemed, by the way. This is the Providence deck, right, which looks awesome. But this, I'm not on about Nemed with this. I mean, just I've seen magicians around the country. They'll bring out a fancy deck, and they'll say, "Look at that deck. It's not a trick deck." What the fuck? Like, you just told them trick decks exist. Like, some people know that there's such thing as a trick deck, but a lot of people don't. So as soon as you say, "Oh, go ahead, examine the deck," if people don't think you're using a trick deck, or the deck, like, telling them to examine the deck when they weren't going to examine it anyway, or saying it's not a trick deck when they didn't know trick decks exist, you've just sort of given the game up a little bit. It'd be like saying, "Oh, I ate a hamburger for lunch. I promise you I'm not lying. I didn't think you were fucking lying. I thought you had a hamburger, but now I think you're lying." So my thing with fancy decks is if you bring them out, then just own that shit. Just whip them open. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you some magic. Can you go ahead and give these a shuffle? Don't acknowledge it, because all decks are fancy from my point of view. And I know in the US, bicycle are very common, but humans have seen other decks of cards before. So yeah, it's a good question, and I think if there ever is a concern, then those tips should help you overcome. Lloyd, so you clearly saw the ring get dropped in this open coffin, and I didn't go anywhere near the grave over there. Jerry grabbed the shovel. I can't figure. That's hilarious. I just can't figure out what it's in regards to. David Timroth. I dug out my H wallet while waiting for my Orphic to arrive, and now I have room in the monster for everyday carry packet tricks. Apart from Brainwave and a Monty, any suggestions? So I don't do any packet tricks per se. And I'm trying to think now what I do. Nah, not really. If anything, if I was going to perform a packet trick, I would perform Strange Travelers by Paul Harris. And there's a David Blaine version that was brought out, I think, after like his special 10 years ago. But that's like 20 cards. So I don't, but I do carry gimmicks on me from time to time. So the Face Off gimmick by Ron Salamanquero, if you haven't seen that, people have been talking about in the chat. We spoke about it last week. It's it's the best version of this effect that I've ever seen, and I think it'll be very difficult to top it because it's very, 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 very close to being real magic. 2 cards taken back to back and a sign on the faces. So sign, and this is exactly how it looks, right? So 2 cards, you sign one here. You can show like this, so they're separate. So you sign one on the face there, one on the face there. You tear them in half, and the moment they're torn, they are restored but fused. Half of this card on that card and half of this card on that card, and the audience keep them. There's nothing to ditch. So literally, you have them take the 2 cards, sign the face. You tear them in half, and they're immediately restored, like Anniversary Wall style. And what I love about that is that the method is the secret, in a way. Like the way to frame it is because the moment they're torn, they are also restored. It's incredible. I used to keep like 3 of those in my wallet at all times, and yeah, like insane. I used to keep Acme Holds on me all the time. So packet tricks, not really. I do some stuff with like a small amount of cards in the deck, like 20 cards. But nah, not really any packet tricks for me. They kind of, I don't know, it's not my style whatsoever to keep a packet of cards that are not a full deck in my wallet. If I was to do like a packet trick, I would probably, I don't know if there's one exists or whatever, but I'd probably have a couple of cards from random decks in my wallet, like a red one, a completely different brand, and I'd probably be like, oh yeah, I keep these because I collected them from this casino or that casino, or like, you know, I travel a lot, and I carry, you know, I always take one card from wherever I've been if I can find one, and do something like that. So with that, like, because for me, that's a believable story. People know that like when I talk to people, like, because I have it like half tattooed on my arms and stuff, but like me and McKinnon got matching Toronto airport things on there. Like, people know that I travel, so it makes sense for me to keep some sort of souvenirs on me, and they know that I like magic, so it makes sense to have like a magic souvenir. So something like that probably. Joey Minor. First of all, Chris James, I'm late. Hey Chris, thanks for tuning in. You're quickly becoming one of my favourite people, Chris. Joey Minor, what's up, Lloyd? How's your week been? I'm good, thank you, Joey, man. How's your week been, dude? Daniel Roth, thanks, Lloyd. Gullion, I feel invisible. Okay, Gullion, why you? What about the index I heard about? Okay, the question is, what about the index I heard about when it came to Cognito? All right, the index is being worked on. It's currently in a manufacturing phase, and we want it to be the best index that's ever been made in Magic. Right, best full deck index that goes in a single pocket. It needs to be the most slimline and the fastest index in the world. And I'm sorry I didn't answer your question earlier. I keep getting emails about this and private messages. What I can tell you is that the index is thinner than a box of cards for a start, and it goes in your pocket in tight jeans. If you wear tight jeans, if you're in baggy jeans, even better. And what we can find for a full deck index, it's the fastest that's ever been created. So I know a lot of index out, they take, they show in the trailers or whatever, the instant, but the reality is they're very easy to get wrong, when they can take between 20 and 30 seconds, up to 45 seconds to retrieve a card. With our index, on average, you can retrieve a card within 2 to 3 seconds. And then also, as always, all indexes have some cards which are trickier to access, and on a really bad day, like we really fuck up, it can take like 5 seconds, which is still quicker than the quickest ones out there in our category of super slimline, skinny jeans, average time, and full deck, so not split into 2 pockets. So basically, we keep refining it, and we believe we're on the final version now. We actually paid for the full manufacturing process to be done, and then stopped them because we had a tiny tweak which would make it better. And these tweaks are incredible updates from Javier, because he's doing all the modeling, the design for it, and honestly, he should have gone into this field of CAD design instead of Magic, because, well, we're lucky to have him, because his ideas have revolutionized the index from what it originally was, and his persistence to make it that much better is a thing of beauty. Actually, Nemed Phoenix is in the comments. He's seen me perform with this index live, a few effects with it. So feel free to comment some stuff about the index, whether you like it or not. But Nemed's seen it in action, and he can hopefully attest to it. So Gullion, I'm sorry if I made you feel invisible. There's your answer to the question. And I'd estimate between 8 weeks for it to come out. I'd say between 8 weeks. I'd say about 8 weeks for it to come out, maybe a bit more. David Peace. Anytime someone asks me why I'm using a bicycle deck by a lay person, as they and poker sides aren't common in Ireland 2, I say I use them as they are slightly bigger, so more people. That's a great answer. If somebody asked me why I was using a bicycle deck, I'd probably be like, oh, I don't know, I just bought it in the garage and play it down maybe. David Team Roth. I bought a hamburger with my money I earned illegally. Yeah, man. Loving the slick ignore of all the questions about the index. Missed it at least 4 times. Sure, there's a reason, but I thought I'd bring up a much longer message here just to be a dick. Well, thanks, Nemed. Pigcake's butthole. Hey, everybody. Hey, Pigcake's butthole. Molly Mayhem. I think it's Matty. I keep saying Molly. Matty. I'll never do a packet trick because the Elmsley count looked fishy before I even knew Magic. Yes, yeah, this is a big thing, actually. You're so right there. The Elmsley count just looks fucking terrible. Like, what is the Elmsley count, man? Like, I have 4 cards, but I'm gonna show, like, okay, I have 4 cards. Oh, count those cards for me. Yes, you're so right. I think that's why I can't get into them. Chris James, for packet tricks, try definitely not marked Ace by Sanders. I've seen definitely not marked. That's a great routine, actually. I've seen Douglas Conn performing it on Facebook recently. I think, is it a Brent Braun trick, right? It's so good. And Ace by Sanders is another fantastic trick. The other one I've seen was Adam Wilbur's one. Let me find this for you guys. Vulpine Creations. Did you guys see Adam Wilbur's packet trick, actually? Is it called like what, where, when, how? Me and Craig were talking about this on the podcast the other day, and it is actually that's right. I said in the podcast. Oh, it's called, here we go. I actually would perform this because there's something about it which ticks a certain box for me. It's called, let me see if I can show you guys on camera. What, When, Where, Why Wallet by Adam Wilbur, Vulpine Creations. And yeah, I actually said to Craig, when I seen Craig performing it live, Craig's got some videos on his Instagram, I believe, and YouTube. That is the type of thing. I would probably change the writing on the cards, but the effect is very strong. I think you have like 4 or 5 cards. The spectator picks one. Then you turn them over. All the faces disappear. And they say something else. And then the card that they've picked is the only card in the wallet in like an envelope or something. It's really, 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 really good. Really good. I just like that premise of like they pick one and it transposes and the rest changes. Super cool. All right. Chris James and Prohibition Monty, Joey Miner. I still keep Acme Hole giving in my wallet to this day. Oh, hell yes. Thank you, dude. Since it's just you and us today, can we show you some of our magic? I want you to see my coin bend and my Siggy trick. Yeah, I'd love to see it. I just don't know how to get your videos on here. If you could potentially send a link and I'll try and get it on the screen. That'd be pretty cool. Pickaxe butthole, B-Wave. I don't do B-Wave, man. I know it's a good trick. I know it fries layman, but I just don't do it. Patrick DeHart. I'm enjoying the Sunday sessions. I've learned a lot from watching these the past couple weeks. Thank you so much, Patrick. Gillian. Thank you. Looking forward to it. See, thank you. I'm glad I answered your comment. I didn't mean to ignore you. I'm so sorry, dude. Just it's hard to talk about the index because for some reason there's so much hype behind it, and I didn't think there would be after we showed like a few videos of it. We didn't show the index with the intention to hype people, but it just blew up. So it's hard to talk about it because I would like to show you it. I'd like to just you know what I'm like, guys. I would just show you exactly how it works, but I don't want to do it before it's ready. Punk BMX. If you have £50, what magic trick would you buy and why? Well, first of all, I'd buy Scotch and Soda or Coin Unique straight away. 10 pence 2p Coin Unique in the UK. First thing I'd buy is one of those because I've spent mine like an idiot. And then I would buy an Orphic wallet if I didn't have one. Oh, I suppose the question is if like today, right? What would I buy? £50. I get to buy. Name some products that are out. I don't know a whole lot of products that are out. 50 quid. What would I buy? Someone give me some suggestions, maybe, and I'll buy some. Nemed. Yes, love it. I want to give it. Love it. Want it. Give it. Rich, I saw the index. Yes, you did. I showed it to you really briefly, didn't I, Rich? And if you can comment in the chat below, tell people the card that you named and how fast I retrieved it. Nemed, the index, to be clear, I want it. Give me the precious. Thank you so much, Nemed. All right, well, always I feel like it's so hard to keep up with all the comments, but we're coming to an end there, and it's what are we at? But over an hour already, and it's time for the guys were going to try and jump on, but it's a busy day. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to wrap it up right now. But it's been such a fun Sunday session, and I was really bummed out this week, feeling pretty down about my dog Pixel dying, which sucks. So you guys I didn't think anyone would show up. I didn't think anyone would show up to the live session, so I'm so happy you all came along, and I'm gonna be back next week with the guys, Craig, Ben, maybe some other special guests. Hopefully Nathan Lindley as well from Abraxas channel, and we'll get on a jam. The topic of discussion is going to be if we can all get online object to impossible location. So we're going to come up with hopefully some new ideas, show how we do it. And for example, for those of you that don't know, that's like when you take you borrow a bill, it vanishes and it appears over there inside like a vending machine or something. So that's what we're going to be talking about, like not just bills, but also other objects. A few more comments. Instead of Scotch and Soda, look up Brent Braun's coffee and schnapps. Very, very good. I will look that up. Rich. Rich. Yeah, so when me and Rich met up, it was the first time I sort of showed him the index, and he named 7 of diamonds, and he said it was quick enough to be used by a worker, because Rich is a worker, so that's the biggest compliment I could get from Rich. Why Kevin Luck? Sorry, thank you, Way, man, or why Way? Thank you so much, dude. And Daniel, thank you too. All right, guys. By the way, I have allergies. My nose is running, so I'm not like right on here, but it's winter and I've got winter allergies. So, all right, guys, thank you all so much. I've had you guys have all helped me so much this weekend, and I can't wait to see you all on Tuesday for Tutorial Tuesday. It's gonna be a good one. So if you haven't done so already, guys, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Here's a little animation thing. Hit that subscribe button. Ping the notification bell, and do me a favor, if you enjoyed this show, then please Like somebody asked earlier, please drop me a like on the video to help other people see it too. And Chris James, one final comment says, object to impossible location, one that's completely flown under the radar is Alibi. Use it every day, kills, card tobacco phone. Such a good one. David Peace, thanks for coming today. It was great. Thank you all. Love you guys. And I'll see you on Tuesday. And I'll see you then on Thursday for... We need a name for the new weekly wife test because I stole that name from Matthew Wright like a bastard. I'm the bastard. So, guys, come up with the name for the new sort of live performance test videos. And Nemed said, read your Facebook messages away. Oh, yeah, shit, sorry, I don't do Facebook messages, but I will read them for you, my lover boy. Guys, thank you all. Love you all. Subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll see you all very, very soon.